overzealous.
Alvaro caught out here. Chain CC good thus far. Quickness trying to backstep.
I have no level.
We're gonna fight. I have a flank, okay? I'm gonna be there soon.
I'm fine.
I'm based on ulti, I'm based on ulti.
I kite it.
Tries a flash, tries a flash.
It's low. Clearing free.
I look around still, no flash. Q2.
I can level you.
I can solo Drake if you guys wanna push that.
I think.
Who flash?
Hi guys, Ginny here, joined with Gyojopyun from GX. 10 minutes into game, so we're gonna make this quick and easy. I wanna talk about two picks, particularly starting off with the Vex. Was that expected to be a pick top lane?
Not at all. It's Myrwn. We all know that even if it's low practice, he always has this really insane picks. It was not expected at all, no.
And then talking about the Lee Sin mid, we've seen DoNB playing it, we've seen Vedius play it last time in Winter 2024. Could we have a little reasoning behind that?
It's just something that we wanted to pull out if a team would play on early and we had access to a champion with AP damage on both and Sejuani, and it was more ready for Camilo than for today, but we get the chance to pull it out today, and hopefully it works as well as we expect it to.
I'm looking forward to see how it plays out. Thank you so much for your time.
Always interesting to have these insights, especially when you look at both compositions here. And something that surprises me is when coaches say, we did not see this one coming. Usually everything is planned, everything is read through scrims, drafts, solo queue scouting and everything. Myrwn is cooking once again.
I genuinely think at this point, Myrwn is the closest thing to Darien we have had since Darien.
That makes so much sense, actually.
I've never seen a player like this. I mean, Darien, for those of you that don't know, back in Season 2 was the Gambit top lane in Moscow 5. Who he would actually not practice things at all and pull them out in professional games, and he'd still make them work. That doesn't happen normally. It's not okay for that to happen. This is the closest I've ever seen anything to that since.
Well, we had a discussion yesterday about Fearless Draft, which drafts make sense, the fact that you want to draft around a specific element in draft. GB, your take on these two compositions here?
Yeah, I mean, if the only thing I really want to look at at the beginning is honestly just the Vex and then into what it's playing into. And I think it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you got a lot of dashes of the Embessa. The Vex is taking... Exactly, you're getting a lot of utilization of that. And honestly, I feel a bit bad for Lot now. He's blind-picked Embessa, who's supposed to be one of the S-tier top laners he can pick. Against BB, well, here's a Warwick. Against MDK, well, here's a Vex instead. So yeah, it sucks a bit. And then the other nice new pick we got was the Lee Sin. Which I think was quite useless. It was like, if this over here was fantastic, this was so disappointing. They obviously had an early game plan with it. They just couldn't do anything with it. I
have a question though, because the way you describe Vex and its utility in game reminds me of Puppey. I know it's something we've discussed during the game. Why would you go for Vex and not Puppey then?
I think it's because you do more damage and you have a better pushing lane early on, at least. Poppy can sometimes struggle by being very low range and having to use wall stuns and stuff like that. And yeah, it is a good comparison to say, well, if you're going to be a dash disruptive champion, and especially with the build that came through as well, like there's a whole bunch of stuff happening here.
Yeah,
we see a tankier build, we see Grasp, we see Shield Bash, and we see the W max as well. Now, what Myrwn is banking on is that the passive, which applies the gloom onto people as they dash, has really good base damage. Alongside Grasp and then Shield Bash, you make up the damage you need. You don't need to max out your Q or go towards QE. You can max your W straight up, which means you get really good shield value. If they close the distance onto you, you're actually quite tanky at that point. You've got a bunch of HP in your build, so you can be disruptive, you can still have range, and you don't have to play to just dive in like the Poppy. You can actually stand on top of your own team and use your own range.
May I ask you what it looks like in-game and the application of this composition? How are you supposed to play around a composition like this, GB?
Well, it's kind of like, well, from whose point of view? MDK's point of view here, or if you're
let's look at the winners. Yeah, let's look at the
so I think with MDK, like it is sort of a semi-dive comp as well. You already had the Vi, you had the Yone. You're just diving in with members that already wants to go in. So it fits that description perfectly. And it's not Galio, right? But it a little bit is with the amount of CC that you apply when you dive into them, and you just go out afterwards. Alex had a good description of the build as well. So yeah, I think it fits the composition very well.
Yeah, and that's the fun part of the aggressive part. Yeah, you've got Vi Vex, which is when Vex was played, very simple stuff to what you could do. And you can just stand on top of your own team as well. If you get your passive charged up and you have the 5 dash champions going at you, you stop their dashes as they fly in. There's multiple different ways you can play this. I think with the extra tankiness you have, you are allowed to play a little bit more bold and just just stand in front of your teammates. Use that anti-dash like more of a tank.
So you have a lot of tools, especially to plan around objective setups, I think, when you have this champion here. Not a lot of recovery, though, on the side of GX with the tools that they had.
Yeah, I mean, they had to get the ball rolling from the get-go with the composition that they had. And it's not like it wasn't playable, but the mechanical prowess you have to have on a, for example, Lee Sin and make this work into champions who's already suppressing what your composition wants to do. I mean, in my opinion, it was just extremely clever prep coming in from MDK, and I don't think with what GX drafted, there was anything they could do about it.
And the only fights we really saw GX win were when they took fights when the Vex was on the other side of the fight. Dive onto the Oni when they're slightly out of position, get some CC, right, throw all the ults into them before the Vex starts to disrupt those. It's actually kind of incredible how Myrwn pulls out this pick and just says, well, the whole game's changed.
Yeah, and I want to follow up on something that I said yesterday when it comes to Fearless Draft. I was like, if you're not him, don't try to be him. Pick something easy to execute, pick standard compositions. How much do we appreciate teams making those kind of bets in first game of best of 3 Fearless?
Okay, in Fearless, okay, so there's two things I want to get into, right?
In Fearless,
Myrwn, first of all, Myrwn has always been him when he came to these picks before he even got to the LEC, right? In Fearless, this is what we're expecting when we're coming down a bit towards the game 3 and the game 4, maybe the game 5. This is where you're picking out the picks that's not S tier, where what have we got left in our pocket picks? Not in game 1. Why am I seeing Lee Sin from the get-go? I understand that it might have been a Yone counter. This is the only Lee Sin I've seen into Yone. Was not impressed by it, so from that sample size, doesn't look too good.
Yeah, and I haven't really seen it in other regions too. We've seen the Pantheon try stuff like that, which I've seen to be a bit more successful. Obviously, it doesn't work out, and it kind of really left Noah and Lot to do just Herculean stuff in teamfights, which they couldn't end up doing. And now you have to deal with regular stuff left up on the board for Myrwn if he's used some of the weird stuff already.
I mean, yeah, it's going to make for an interesting game too. GX chose blue here. Let's see if they can fix some issues, if they can come up with new things. But in the meantime, we had the opportunity to catch up with Jackies right before he came back on stage. So let's see what Ginny and him had to say. Setups, I think, when you have...
Hi guys, Ginny here, and this time I'm joined with Jackies from GX. That Lee Sin pick maybe have not necessarily gone the way that you wanted it to, but heading into the next game, what's your approach going to be to be able to lead from the mid lane?
I think from mid lane, this series doesn't look like from mid lane, to be fair. I feel like we will just trade off picks and we see what happens. I think it's just going to be team fights, so something like a stronger team fights, I guess.
Is that going to be from the draft perspective or just in general as a team?
I think both, 100% both. Like, they are drafting for team fights, then we have to match it, right? Or we will see.
All right, we'll see indeed. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck.
Thank you as well.
I like when you keep it simple. Drafting for team fights. We'll keep an eye on that. GX, unsurprisingly, have chosen blue side. I think the downside is you've now opened up red side Myrwn counter pick. And if we go down the kind of ladder of high priority picks, next is Cassante. So are you blinding Cassante for a lot and just going for, let's see what else is going to come out of the hat?
What I really love about this is Winter, Myrwn, has been like hibernating.
Yeah.
You know? He's just been playing the meta stuff. Cassante and Bessa.
Subdued by the strongest champions in the game.
Showed you a cheeky karma. Ooh, you know, like, what am I bringing out today? And then out of nowhere, Vex, and everyone's like, oh god, he's back. He's out of hibernation. What has he cooked in the kitchen for us? And now you always have to be wary of what is possible. Now, the good news for GX is you don't have to ban the Vex. The bad news is there are 135 other champions in the game.
Yep.
So, yeah, good luck.
Good luck. I mean, specifically Lot. I don't think anyone else is going to have this problem, but we'll see how GX, or what GX want to prioritize. Jackie's mentioned just kind of trading power picks. We're seeing a lot of those power picks banned away now, not wanting the Ivern to go over to Elyoya here, and a ton of jungle focus specifically from both sides. Kalista the only exception thus far.
Final ban will be, remember, Poppy was high priority from the side of KOI, but that was because they really wanted to get their hands on a lot of dive. Will they look to ban that one away? Are they concerned about something like a Varus, perhaps? I don't know if it's that high on the ban table. Maokai does make a lot of sense.
Okay, taking closer off the safe, reliable tank junglers. Skarner, Maokai, and via the previous game, Sejuani, unavailable. So what is the first pick here? Bot lane would make a lot of sense.
I was about to say, I reckon it's just Cassante.
It's still, look, it's still objectively the strongest blind pick you can get.
Poppy.
You're just reserving a seat at Myrwn's restaurant every time you do this. And for a lot, like, he's been a really, I think he has been the big surprise for me of a lot of our rookie pool coming in. Kliss kind of, you know, no disrespect to Kliss, but obviously a lot of people expected that. Lot was the guy who wasn't on my radar, has had a good split thus far, but is going to need to step up big time. K'Sante, a champion who, even if the lane phase is, you know, difficult, obviously can always still have an impact in those team fights, but KOI getting their hands on the Azir in Game 2, this was the champion that, as much criticism as has been levied at Jojo, I think people are still respecting him on this pick.
Oh, for sure. I think it's definitely one of his go-to default comforts, and it's something that he relies on. I think it's also very safe blinding. You look at this from KOI. So far, very stock standard. Nothing too crazy. Azir, Corki, you have a lot of poke. This could be a very traditional front-to-back team fight, and we just heard it from Jackie's. He said himself that if they're building for team fight, then we need to do the same. And so matching with the Varus, strong laner that can match up against most AD carries in the game, gives you a prevalent 2 versus 2, and you can pair that up with an effective engaged support. And if they do pair that up with the Nico, something that Jun has defaulted to, even if they want to save it for later in the draft, it's just engaged tools, and great team fighting starting to be built from the side of GX.
Yeah, and I like seeing the Zen come out at this point. We saw in the BDS game from 113 earlier just how annoying that champion can be for picks like Azir, like the Corki, who are just going to have a hard time getting inside that circle of that ulti.
It's Poppy, man. It's such a good pick. They banned it in the first game, they're bringing it out here, and they can flex it too. They can put it down into the bot lane. I think they're more likely to send it top, though. There's the possibility of going jungle, even though domestically we haven't really seen it jungle for a while. Yep. There was that meta of Poppy Trundle, where it was pretty much only those two being played in the jungle. But aside from that, it's primarily been played in the top lane, and it is a pretty good matchup into the K'Sante.
And in general, right, it's not like every single game Myrwn logs in, he has to pick a flashy counter pick. And this flexibility was something we used to question in the past when he wasn't as comfortable on the meta champions. But it's something, the evolution that we have seen this split is if he does play the Poppy, is fine. Maybe top lane won't be the center of attention. Then the question is who on MKOI is going to step up, is going to help them find those early advantages. Corki certainly a powerful pick early. What will the support option be? Wukong taken away, team fighting picks denied, GX staying true to the commitments that Jackie said earlier on, not wanting to give any more team fight angles away. Supports are my big question. Jun had a lot of good engages, just lacked the follow-up from his remaining teammates. Alvaro had a lot of great engages, but you know, Rakan, Rel, the poster child of cool engages, everyone else after that falls off a bit.
I was about to say, the Ahri might follow up from this Talia, just 2 comfort picks for Jackies that especially pair up nicely with the Xin Zhao, the Pantheon, early game agency. Like, we've been seeing this a lot where you kind of, on paper, the Pantheon plus the Azir doesn't make a huge amount of sense because one's very aggressive in the early game, one's a lot more about getting their itemization and scaling. But Pantheon does a great job of bridging that gap. He's someone that just provides great early game power and damage when paired up with a nice playmaking support is good. But we're going to get the Nidalee coming through from Elyoya. No stranger to the pick, of course, but now you can see a lot of poke on the side of KOI.
My sweet summer child. But who else plays Nidalee? And who do they have?
Oh, you're right.
This is the problem. And I'm telling you right now, that's an Azir in the mid lane.
You're right.
And pro players hate drafting similar damage types jungle. I could be wrong, but I smell a Nidalee top lane.
Yeah, I think I was listening to Cadrill's stream the other day where he was talking about how like Myrwn has so many different accounts, and he has one account where he's got like 70+% win rate.
Okay, so shout out to Molecule, who does our stats for us, who tried desperately, I think last week when we were coming into Fearless, to track down on the Myrwn accounts. I do not think he was successful. Every pro player, list of what they've been playing, Myrwn, you know, it was kind of just gobbledygook.
He does keep it a secret. That he is very good at. We'll find out where this Nidalee is going because, of course, Poppy Nidalee, a lot of flexibility here, but the round out from GX, very much about that team fighting. Varus, Nautilus, a long-standing, present, and powerful 2v2 bot lane, of course, can be interrupted by the Poppy still. With the Braum locked in, it now becomes a debate of whether that Poppy is going in the jungle.
I think jungle. I think you're right.
I mean, on paper,
I've unsettled you. I've reminded you of the path. Yeah,
you did. I was really confident in where these picks were going, but you've definitely made me doubt. Right now, the negotiation is happening. Myrwn's like, come on,
we'll just talk about it if we hit. I will say GX, look, they said team fight was important. They have made that clear. Is it a vanilla ice cream composition? Yes, but it's also like one of the most winning compositions we see in the context of LEC. Orianna finally the control mage who can follow up on those big engages, and with no Vex this time around, K'Sante still trying to isolate some of those key targets. The Braum will be the big question mark for me. Alvaro on the Braum has been good, But sometimes this team struggles when they don't have those proactive playmakers in jungle support role, and Nidalee and Braum, not really those champs who have the CC to get things kicked off. A little bit different in terms of the roles.
Yeah, I will say KOI have like no engage.
Yeah.
It's
a controversial strategy.
Yeah, it's one where I was, well, I think many people were critical last week when they had that Braum setup because it was kind of difficult for them to gain space and control over objectives. But in any case, they've got a lot of range, they've got a lot of poke. We'll see how things pan out as GIANTX have gone for a lot more team fighting here in Game 2.
I'm getting a lot of mixed signals from the side. One said, I'm not bothered about Jojo on his ear. I'm gonna keep talking over this intro. You're thinking this is wrong. Then one person had a Jujutsu Kaisen drawing, but it said JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Guys, we need to work this out. Like, I respect it if you can't
get your anime locked in. Okay?
Or it was their interpretation of a JoJo character. I'm flipping it right now. Of course, while I'm rambling, this is a great opportunity for you to scan this QR code and join the LEC WhatsApp channel for news, updates, and special winter fan votes starting on Monday. So an opportunity to vote.
Just tomorrow.
Yeah.
Gonna have a bunch of categories throughout the week the fans can vote on. Celebrate some of the best moments from the split. It's gonna be fun.
I like that.
You got a sneak peek earlier, Dracos.
I did.
I saw you laughing. So
I did
I call that a good thing.
There were good moments. And I like letting the fans vote. Because if we let, you know, when it's just casters, journalists, and pros, we've always got that one guy who tries to vote for his entire team, and then we have to explain to him again that it's not allowed, and it's, yeah, it just gets messy. Just let the fans decide.
Now, we jump into game. You can see the runes on your screen. And I'm looking across the board, and I'm seeing nothing too out of the ordinary. The first thing we have to keep track of is the possibility of a lane swap, and it looks like that is going to come through. But the early ward will spot that out. The pings have come through from KOI, and they know their game plan. Poppy gonna move towards the mid lane, looking to share experience. Lot gonna make his way towards bot.
Hey, it's almost like it was meant to be. It rhymes.
I didn't notice that, but thank you for sharing.
Hanging out. I didn't notice until you said it. That's all I'm saying. And Alvaro.
Will it be stopped?
Oh.
It looks like yes. Is the
I feel so bad for Lot. Like, never. He finally gets to 1v1 top lane game 1. It's a miserable counter matchup, and now he has to play a lane swap. Like, top lane is. The only person having fun in top lane is Myrwn and BB, I'm convinced. Lot doing what he can. Again, if it looks weird as to why he is stepping up, he's just trying to get an experience range. So that he has level 2 for the dive. The downside here is if he doesn't get it, he could be under threat. The good news, Jun already close. Closer already close, so should be fine to survive.
Myrwn making his way towards bot lane. Keep your eyes on the mini-map and watch Elyoya's pathing. He has a tendency to skip camps.
Good cover.
To look for an early dive, but I don't know if this is possible. They set their sights on Jun, who's level 1, quite far away from the level 2. The pings have come down. Closer's making his way over.
I don't think there's a dive angle here. Again, the second K'Sante has W, every dive gets infinitely harder. Instead,
ultimately, though, they've wasted a lot of time. You know, the fact that Jun has come down here will now tick over to level 2. Myrwn's really not going to lose much farm on the top side of the map. And Closer was forced to cover on the bot side, instead just chooses to base so that he can get back out onto his top side and start clearing those camps.
Jojo also suffering a bit in the 1v1. Jackie's level 3 to level 2. Now trying to zone him off XP using the ball. Jojo finally taking over to level 3, and you can see top lane. And we're trying to keep that pressure up as we have a bit of an awkward 2v2 here in bottom lane. And of course, while all of this is happening, while Xin Zhao is pulled down to cover, and while Myrwn was doing his jungle impression, Elyoya's been power farming. He's level 4 now. The spear hits Jackie's. No, he's a dead man walking.
And it's an easy first blood for Elyoya. The threat of the dive forced Closer to hover around the bot side of the map. They had vision on those top camps. They knew where Closer was, and Elyoya said, you know what? I'm going to prioritize clearing my own jungle. He does the full clear. He sees an opportunity to get a gank in the mid lane, and he secures first blood for his team.
And this is crushing. Because again, Myrwn didn't lose too much in the context of that swap, was able to just TP back to the top side while he was covering bot lane, Elyoya was power farming, and now Nidalee has first blood.
And look, the second spawn of the Raptors is now up. Elyoya is there just as they spawn. He is like min-maxing his camp clear.
He hasn't even reset yet.
Nope. And he may even look for a contest onto the Raptors. No, it looks like he's not going to do it. He's not going to have any time. Closer is there to get his Raptors respawn. And even though the camp gap has been closed, the fact that Elyoya is already cycling through, making his way back up towards those top Krugs, Like, this is the power of Nidalee, just the incredibly fast clear speed and what you can do in the early game. It's what makes this champion so scary if played well.
Closer did already reset, so he is a bit stronger just in terms of having the longsword. Obviously not the most powerful early back, but maybe can get something done at some point, and that point is now. Elyoya will recall. We'll see how much he's able to grab here. Much better recall for Elyoya.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a nice back for him.
Ooh. Boots in the ashes.
Meanwhile, we look at the resets coming through, and it's now about time the bot laners go top. Minute until the grubs spawn. Sometimes we'll see the trade come through for the dragon for the grubs, but it looks like, given you have Varus and Nautilus, why wouldn't you want to try and get an early fight? Powerful bot lane duo. Of course, against the Braum, it could be scary. But they've set their sights on looking to try and contest this objective. Corki gets the first push in top. Closer makes his way into the top side river as Elyoya continues his clear.
Bit of info sweeper used there, but luckily the Scuttle Crab was taken on the top side by GX. So they really have all the info they need. Noah, with a decent XP advantage overall, will be first to level 6, which will be big, and the early tier purchase not going to be outvalued by the recurve bow.
Haven't we seen this before?
The repeat. Jackie's standing on the right side of the lane. Elyoya now pitching with the spear. He hits again! And the flash comes late, and that cat's starting to chase. My God, Jackie's run. You can't really. Shockwave. Elyoya taking his time. Flash the trap, the auto.
And it's another kill picked up. Rinse and repeat from Elyoya. He makes the same play. Jackie's misplays the flash. And now it's 2-0 for the Nidalee. Elyoya is quickly running away with this early game. Hovers the top side.
Elyoya, if the spear hits, they're going to be in trouble. Slow there. Noah wants to step forward individually. He knows he's strong. Level 6 now there, but Elyoya's taking over to level 6 at the same time. Closer coming in from behind. They might just try to finish the kill on Jun. Closer can follow up now. Alvaro likely to die. Noah finishing the kill. Good heads-up play from GX using their AD carry experience advantage.
Moment of hesitation there from Elyoya. I'm surprised he just didn't commit onto Jun. I'm convinced he would have had enough damage, but I guess he was afraid that if he did do that, he would be overcommitting, and then the possibility of Closer joining and then getting a kill onto him would have been detrimental. This will cost KOI the grubs, I expect. Elyoya not really in a position to fight for this when they lost their support. Alvaro already back out onto the map, though. I stand corrected.
Jojo looking for the scoop. Delivers him to Elyoya. Spear connects. Jackie's nowhere to go. Stunned up, taken down. First 3 kills. Going over to KOI, get the feet of Warfare. Now Closer has to run. Oh, that last auto! And this is a game of late flashes.
The spear damage. He was not expecting it to be that much. Supa connected the last auto attack just as he flashes. And that's another kill. 4 now for KOI. 7 minutes in, they're going to get all the grubs.
And you know, coming into today, if you told me that Jojo was just going to outplay Jackie's left and right, I wouldn't have believed you. But what happened today was he also brought a support in game 1 and a jungler in game 2. And Jackie's is having a terrible day, man. Was not able to do much in the Lee Sin game. 0-3, 7 minutes, almost 8 minutes into this game. This is just going to be miserable for him.
I mean, of course, many were excited for the arrival of Jojo to this roster, but you can never take away the heart of this roster, which is Elyoya. He was so successful upon joining the LEC at the start. Hang on, Myrwn in a bit of danger.
Jun, hook, Poppy can interrupt the follow-up. Bit of poke now back. Flashed away from the ultimate. Well timed there.
Okay, so a bit of a nice punish onto Myrwn on the bot side of the map, losing his flash. There's not really much they can get off the back of this, so they'll push in that bot wave and Supa will be there to receive it. Maybe they can start off the dragon. It's harder for Jackie's to get that mid-prio, given how effective Jojo and Elyoya have been at shutting him down. It's one of the sad realities of Orianna. When she loses her flash early, she is just so susceptible to early ganks.
Yeah, it's part of the reason why Azir is, you know, top of the pecking order when it comes to mid lane control mages. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, you do all the teamfight stuff, but also you can just make plays up until you have 2 items and it becomes smarter to backline. KOI holding on to control on the bottom side. Again, 1.5k gold lead, already got one of the feats. Already got one objective for themselves in the form of the 3 grubs. And GX just have not been able to do much else. It was looking okay there early on, but once those 2 kills came in around the mid lane, they're now going to get a lot harder.
Poppy and Cassante doing top lane things.
I do think if we go later in this game, though, it's still going to be tough for
This
KOI.
is what we need a cinematic of.
What?
Poppy and Cassante.
Yeah, specifically with the Lollipop skin. Who plays Trundle versus Darius? You know? Cassandre.
It was all well and called Darius and Trundle, you know.
Yeah,
punching each other in the face.
Yeah, where's my
where's the
tiny Yordle with a lollipop hitting a man who's been hunting, who's like Monster Hunter guy. Monster Hunter guy versus Immortal Toddler with lollipop.
You see the slow turn, and it's the terrifying.
I'm just saying, they've done it somewhere,
Speaking of terrifying, here comes Elyoya.
All right, Lot. When does the Pathmaker come out? Ignite already ticking, stun there, goes unstoppable. Spear hits though, and that's the downside because it makes it easy for Elyoya to clean it up. Alvaro ticking health bar, but a nearly flawless dive.
Cleanly executed, and now Myrwn becomes the target.
Ulti goes in, stops the play from happening. Uses the recall to reset the animation, and I believe it's still a 15-second cooldown.
Jojo has TP. He could join the fight.
Ulti go for it. In. Stopping the steadfast presence. Good CC, nice goes stun. For the wall bang back. Now the ulti coming up. Good interrupt on the Poppy. That's going to be clutch. Myrwn likely to fall, but Closer's going to go down too, and Myrwn is going to manage to find one back. Taking down Closer. Jojo not quite able to get the scoop angle. Does not have the flash.
TP, of course. Very slow this early into the game.
But they're still just getting the bot lane tower, and Elyoya's taking a Drake at the same time.
I mean, it's a best case scenario already. KOI trade 1-for-1 on the top side. They're going to lose a bit of farm in mid, but not the end of the world as a tower is secured in bot. The dragon is secured as well. And the feats of strength comfortably locked in for KOI. Just absolute domination here in this early game. GX just can't find any plays to get a foothold here in game 2.
And you know what? I doubt it. When KOI said, we don't need hard CC other than a Poppy and a Azir ult and a Braum, I was skeptical. Many teams have gone down that path and they have not been successful, but Elyoya, 4-0-1 on the Nidalee, showing why you'd prioritize the champ.
Hang on, because what I will say is I've seen this team run this type of comp before, and they did throw.
Yep, and I look forward to people flaming them for cash or cursing them if they do manage to throw.
Because, I mean, GX do have a very straightforward composition. We talked about it in the draft. We heard it from Jackies himself. They wanted to go for more of a team fight direction. And so, yes, they're falling short here in the early game. But the gold deficit isn't insurmountable just yet. They're in a dangerous position, and these early objectives are scary, but a single misplay from the Nidalee, she can get wombo comboed. And that's where a lot of the gold lead is sitting on MKOI. Mispositioning from Jojo could turn the entire game around. So GX, they're just looking for that good fight to give themselves that foothold that they desperately need.
Oh yeah, starting grubs. They already got 4 though. That's mostly what they wanted, as Jojo's just threatening the ulti. Jackies is able to use the dissonance for a bit of extra movement speed and walk away. Closer's still in the area. I guess they just want to deny 6 or try and force the fight. Q does manage to land. Closer now ready to follow up. Ball not really in good position to force the fight. Myrwn zoning Jackies away. That's going to be crucial. Alvaro forced to flash out. Good ulti from Noah, but a better ult from Myrwn, and now he's in trouble. Jojo on the hunt. Jackies looking for the angle. Lineup is there. 2-man. Alvaro ticking, but still alive. Flash forward. Wind becomes lightning. Closer manages to find the kill. Jojo is able to take down Noah in the meantime, and GX trying to hold on to a bit of control here. So far, 1-for-1. Support for AD, but GX a lot of loss of damage. Myrwn remains unconcerned. Flash back from Jackies just in time, but does manage to get hit on the trap on the way out. Myrwn covering, frontlining. This one's getting a little bit awkward as it continues on, but MKOI will grab all 6 grubs.
A scattered fight better serves KOI as they can choose to disengage and re-engage at their leisure, leveraging the poke at their whim. The engage comes through from Jun, but it's unfortunately onto Braum. He tanks up a lot of damage, and KOI are able to dish it back equally. Closer uses the ultimate to buy a lot of time, but then the ulti comes in from Myrwn, and Noah's left completely isolated. He puts good damage down onto Supa, but he has to flash away. The shockwave comes through, connecting onto 2. Jackies doesn't quite have the damage, so Closer has to flash in to secure the kill, and then Jojo ends up securing that kill onto Noah. This is where things get a little bit chaotic for both sides, really. You can see the KOI don't really have the numbers as Jojo is pushing in the top wave. A flash trade from both Myrwn and Jackies means that no one really dies here. But then again, look at the poke coming out from Supa and Elyoya. Means that Closer and Lot can't really commit to this fight.
It's so hard, right? If that initial commit doesn't work out, in this case, Jackie's zoned away when he finally does already. He still doesn't have an item completed. Level 11 will give him a bit more damage. Completing this first item will also be pretty significant for the fights to come. You can see how it could work. You can see what it could do, but the money just not in the favor of GX, nor was the positioning. Jojo is able to slide out of that one. And we see, once again, a situation where MKOI are trying to keep pressure up in all 3 lanes.
KOI in a comfortable position for the time being, especially when sieging. You can see that their poke is ruthless. Noah finds himself at 50% HP, going for the on-hit build so that he can, at the very least, try and get through some of the front line. But KOI, I mean, they're going to do their best to avoid teamfights as much as they can. They want to set up around these objectives, force you to face check into their Braum, into their Poppy. They want to pick apart you one by one, chip away at your HP bar, and make it too difficult for you to find these engages, or if you do, at the very least, you're going to be at a disadvantage. Elyoya continuing to power farm, 4-0-2 now on the Nidalee in a very commanding position.
I mean, and Jackie's might be in trouble here. Trying to clear the wave, at least a little bit. He's able to sidestep that sphere, but has to respect a potential dive. Winter's Bite does hit. Jun in the area too. And for this GX lineup, again, momentous week 1. MKOI, not the expected favorites here. It was Humanoid earlier, talking trash. Full faith in Jackie's. Has not come to fruition yet. MKOI just using the Azir turret to keep pushing. Lows are now following up. Alvaro in trouble. Managed to get the 3-man ultimate. Jun following up with an ulti of his own. Jojo poking a bit over the wall, but that is going to be just a free kill. Picked up by the side of GX. Alvaro not ready for the sheer number of members present on the top side. And Jun now looking to make a repeat appearance here as Jojo sticking around maybe too long.
I mean, look at the bot tower, though. Myrwn is being given a lot of freedom to free hit on that tower. He's getting a lot of damage down onto it. Going to be forced to disengage as Lot makes his way over. And this opens up the dragon. All of the objectives have gone the way of KOI so far. Herald is going to be spawning, and you imagine that this is what GX will try to contest next.
Bro, that Charizard is going crazy right now. He needs to calm down.
He's doing some long jumps.
Yeah, some long... That man should join the Olympics.
Nidalee thinks she's got a lead.
Yeah.
Jojo going to lock in this tower in the top lane. GX are losing more and more ground by the minute, and it's just the tower falls.
In game 1, it felt so stifled, and it's so easy to put it on the draft, right? In game 2, you had better tools, but the early game just so heavily favored for MKOI. And for a team like this that showed so much promise early on in the split, it's such a crushing way to go. Sent down to the lower bracket, only then to be immediately eliminated. They can't find a way back in this one. Mental fortitude has always been kind of the story haunting Noah and Jun. See if today can be a day where they triumph over that.
I mean, it's about the top 4 right now. An opportunity to face Fnatic as both teams square off in the river. They're looking for the fight, the hook.
Manages to connect. Immediate heal up. Primal Surge comes in from Elyoya. 3 stacks on Jun, but he will be able to walk away. GX don't really have great control over mid. They will fight their way in. Man advantage here. Myrwn on side. Jojo on side. GX.
They're quite happy with this type of stalemate. Gives them a lot of opportunities to just keep farming up. 2.2k the gold gap between the mid laners. What is that, a 25, nearly 30 CS advantage in favor of Jojo just because of how he's been playing the side lanes. And that's the other thing about Orianna. She doesn't quite have the same side lane safety. She often needs that coverage. We saw it from Jun earlier. But Jojo has so much freedom on the Azir, and he's leveraging that to its full extent as Herald now looking to be uncontested as KOI play the patient game. They chip away at their opposition, they control the side lanes, and now they secured the next objective. And what are GX's options? Because with this comp, they want to try and teamfight, but the way you do that is through these neutral objectives. And I think the step that they're skipping is by playing through a lane. You need to have control over either mid or top so that you have easy access into the objective that you can push KOI off of. If you're just kind of awkwardly matching them in this 3 versus 3, then KOI are going to chip away at your HP bar, leveraging their poke, and they're more than happy to play at arm's length and just frustrate you over time.
It's really tough, though. Elyoya clears the jungle way faster. Jojo pushes way faster. Supa pushes pretty damn fast. It's not the poke Varus, so MKOI, not only do they have the advantage in terms of towers taken, that passive vision control, they're also just going to be first to the play more often than not. It's tough for GX, right? They're hoping that someone on MKOI, when they send those 3 members, that someone oversteps or makes a mistake. It's not happening. And again, I think the discipline from MKOI has to be praised. Again, not a game where it's you know, completely flawless, and we saw in last game 1 or 2 hiccup moments, but overall, a much more disciplined KOI than we saw last week.
100%. I mean, at the start of the series, this is exactly what we wanted to see from this team. Good early aggression, great at playing through winning lanes, and they know how to set up for these objectives. It's just sometimes they overforce, they overstep, and there isn't much to play on the map is when we see them kind of overplay their hand and fall short. But so far, they are showing restraint. Good side lane control, keeping the pressure up, forcing GX constantly to respond. And I mean, look, this tier 2 in the mid lane, this has largely just been done by Supa. Walking down mid, chipping away at that tower, doing very good damage. Now the crowd rallying behind KOI.
Yeah. And I love the enthusiasm, but at this point it's just like, you know, adding fuel to the inferno. Like, which I'm sure they love. But GX gonna need a little bit of that back. They want to try and mount a comeback here. Herald's gonna get popped mid. It's just casually gonna wander down. All right, guys. Like, look, okay, I get it. You're rich. But you don't just need to, like, buy the Versace shoes and then throw them away. You know, that's a bit too much of a flex for me.
Threat of the Herald. Not going to gain much value as Poppy finding the flank.
Noah, Jojo going for the knockup. Myrwn finally going to find the angle to Noah. Just one-shots him. That's so much damage. Shutdown coming through those. They're at least able to take out the Azir. Closer now trying to fall off. Jackie's looking for an angle as well. Good fight so far. Bit of a back and forth, but MKOI with more members. Elyoya untouched on the backline, and he's the real threat. Finally, they're able to find a kill for Jackie's, but it cost him just about everything. A complete ace in favor of KOI.
2 kills could be good, but unfortunately GX lost so much in exchange. I will say, I don't know if KOI can really convert this into much. Elyoya will steal away some objectives. Myrwn, if he gets this tower, that's definitely more than enough. But a bit of a forced fight in the mid lane. The dragon spawning at about 20 seconds. KOI will obviously be up and ready to set up for that objective as they secure another tower. But you can see now with the gold advantage that they have, even if this comp isn't designed for full-on 5v5 team fight, they can still make it work. Jojo goes in for a play. He gets initiated on. He gets stunned up. He gets rooted and he gets clapped. Nice flash onto the backline from Myrwn to just lock down the AD carry of GX. Jun tries to go in on the right side of the fight, and it just turns into a numbers disadvantage. And again, the damage looks pretty promising at the start, but it's just not quite enough. They're just so far behind.
And I gotta say, Myrwn's having an all-star performance. That fight does start with him whipping an ult, but he gets the angle to E Varus into the wall. He W's the all-out Cassante W, that Pathmaker that would have done a ton of damage, stopping it from hitting the rest of his team. He's just making this series unplayable for Lot.
Certainly is. Gold gap is now 6.5k.
If this was a best of 5, he would just play Talia top next game into another Dash champion, just to remove any last light of hope from this man's eyes.
I mean, they found the answers to the most prevalent top lane meta picks, and this is really what makes KOI so scary the later you go into the seasons. They've made many deep playoff runs before.
Also, this is the last of our best of 3s, right? From here on out, it's full best of 5. We get to go much deeper into the Fearless pool.
Tomorrow, we'll have our first best of 5 between G2 and KC. Right now, KOI and GX are fighting for an opportunity to fight against Fnatic next week. TP comes in from Lot. As KOI chip away. No poke quite connecting just yet.
TP top side, Lot caught out, a lot of damage going down, is unstoppable, but gets blocked by Myrwn, nowhere for him to go. Does manage to find a quick little sneak out, but a godlike 7-0-4.
He is absolutely dominating on this Nidalee pick. With the top laner gone, that should be an easy objective secured. I mean, what options do GX really have? The gold gap is now so colossally huge that it comes back to this whole idea of they're going to have to find some sort of miracle to turn this game around.
I mean, the miracle is becoming progressively less intense, or more intense, you know? Started with like a face on a piece of toast, and now we're going all the way to like, you know, locusts or something. I don't know. My biblical knowledge is limited, right?
KOI set their sights on the top tier 2. They're not looking to slow down whatsoever. Oh, Jojo.
Jojo going for the scoop. Jackie's is going to flash out. But MKOI can't just turn this into a siege. They have 6 grubs. Baron's not even alive yet. It's an 8.2k gold lead. GX holding on for some reason. Death staring them in the face. It knows their first name. It knows their date of birth. It knows their whatever the social security number equivalent is in Europe. They're still going to keep fighting, though, which is respectable. But, God, this is grim.
I mean, at this point, they're going to have to take some sort of gamble. Similar to the situation in the Fnatic series earlier. You just kind of have to find the best of a bad situation. Hope that you can convert it into something, a little bit more gold. Those shutdowns, that shutdown specifically onto Elyoya, if Jackie's or Noah could get it, it could be a game changer.
And look, Fnatic somehow won that game 3 versus BDS. You said it. Anything is technically possible in the context of this League of Legends game. But it is highly improbable.
oh, we're aligned on that. I mean,
I don't know how much to sugarcoat this.
The only thing you can do is shed your hope for GX that they can find some way. But right now, it's just clinical. It's decisive from KOI. The Baron spawns in 25 seconds. They'll set their sights on that objective. There is no vision on the top side of the map from GX. Like, they don't see anything right now. And KOI is going to set up that vision.
I mean, if there's a world, like 2 item bars is really strong. Yeah, it's 3 item Corki.
You can hit them.
Assuming you can hit them. I'm just trying to assemble the pieces in my mind, right? What's the perfect way this could go down? And it does involve Noah getting to auto attack for 10 to 15 seconds completely uncontested, and it certainly does not involve this.
They have a sweeper.
Oh, this is going to be rough. No, maybe not. You're just going to hit him with the buckler and walk away. A little bit of chocolate.
GX doing what they can to try and, I guess, push through mid. They've abandoned the top side of the map. Jojo's continuing to push in bot lane, by the way. KOI can play as patient as the one. They can concede the river for now. They don't need control because, again, there's this split push threat as well. The moment that GX sends someone to go and answer him, he can rotate back up to join his team.
He's also just stronger in the 1v1.
Yep.
Jojo looking for the flank. Looking for his moment to glide. Might just be having to try and pick off Laure. Big damage onto him. Instant Azir turret. Great shockwave to kick off the fight, but the Azir turret's already set up. They've already established an empire in the mid lane. GX sent packing. Could not even finish a kill.
It is just a wallet difference at this point. The shockwave was good, but, I mean, look at the health bars. KOI was barely affected. Only Alvaro doing his job, tanked it up. Jojo pushing closer back.
He just is so much shielding. Coming in for the boost passive there. Nothing to be done. MKOI setting their sights on the next objective.
Should be an easy ban. What are GX gonna do? Their options fading fast.
Watch is the answer, although sadly they don't even have vision of the objective. They'll have to wait for the scoreboard pop-up to tell them. Well, I'm sure they're very well aware. And yeesh, this is tough, right? Like game 1, you can say, again, counter picks. Game 2 is just full confidence from MKOI. They got a counter pick, as expected, but then just committed to Elyoya on the Nidalee. A pick that has been super volatile, some big highlight moments, certainly some lowlights as well. And have just dominated from start to finish.
I mean, a lot of question marks were brought up in the KC series around the strength of KOI.
Yeah.
And I think that in this series, they're looking to reaffirm their position here in the LEC.
I mean, that was the question. Top 4. Who is in it? After that Fnatic series, we weren't feeling confident.
That shockwave was great. But again, it's not enough. They don't have the gold to support that type of engage. They get the kill, and that's all KOI needed to secure the Baron. Now they'll play on 2 lanes. Jojo moving over to the side lane. Look at this, level 17 to 14. Jackie's close to ticking over, but still a full 2-level gap. The poke is not going to stop.
Yeah, this is just a steady, controlled siege. GX. Jackie Shockwave, level 14, hits multiple targets. Locke gets a full combo. Maybe there is an angle, but that is deep into the tank of Copium. Jun, unfortunately, is not hooking an ideal target. Is going to get knocked up and just deleted. Oh yeah, now legendary. Alvaro body blocking. Jojo going for a scoop back. Noah trying to win out of the 1v1. He's doing all right thus far, but the luxury items are there. Jojo just goes golden, walks it off. The shockwave good, but it is just not enough. KOI eliminating GX, moving on to face Fnatic. The team looking like a force to be reckoned with. Almost a 15,000 gold lead. 28 minutes in.
Sub 30 minutes. They demonstrated great patience, excellent execution of their composition, and Elyoya 9-0-6. Involved in 15 of the team's 17 kills. A commanding early game performance that KOI just ran away with.
I'm just excited at this new era of European League Legends where our junglers are allowed to play Nidalee. What a time to be alive. Vote for your Kia player of the series, Myrwn, Elyoya, or Jojopyun.
It's a tough one.
All good options.
Because, I mean, after game 1, you want to give it to Myrwn.
I'd say Elyoya or Myrwn, you know? I could go either way. Depends on which game you're looking at. Those are the big hype ones for me. course, condolences to GX, right? Tough way to go.
Of course, a lot of promise at the start of the split.
And that promise doesn't disappear. We're just going to have to wait a little bit longer. See it percolate.
Yeah, I think that ultimately as a roster with a lot of potential on it, we'll see how they bounce back in spring. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they can grow. But today is KOI's day as they move into the top 4 of Winter.
Good spot to be. Shout out to everyone who made signs today. The sign game, on point.
Oh,
I was just gonna,
I thought you had more there.
I didn't have more there. I was just going to toss it to you. I'm thrown off by how fast and convincing that series was.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting a little bit more, especially after Humanoid said that he was really confident that GX was just going to smash.
Look, all I'm saying is Humanoid's reads on many things.
I definitely don't think we can trust Humanoid.
Have been questionable. He seemed very confident in the first question of his post-game 1 interview with Ginny, and then progressively got less confident.
Yes.
We've had multiple interviews with Fnatic right now on a complete side tangent here, where they're like, we don't really know what went wrong. But if you'd like to know what's going wrong or right with the LEC, scan the QR code to join the LEC WhatsApp channel for news, updates, and special Winter Split fan vote starting on Monday.
Yes, so make
we
sure
want to know what you
join.
guys are excited about. There are many things to vote on. It'll be sick.
Right now, we're setting up for an interview. You can see them right behind us right there.
Ginny's waving at me.
I don't know if that's the cue. That means that they're ready. But it looks like that they are.
That is
so
the cue.
We're going to send it down to
Ginny, Jojo, go!
Thank you guys. I'm Ginny, standing by with Jojo here in the Marriott Bonvoy post-game check-in. That actually was not the cue. I was just waving because I saw myself on camera. But either way, congratulations. 2-0. Quick win. You're making our day a little shorter. Thank you. How are you feeling right now? Because it was pretty good, I would say. Solid.
I mean, obviously, I feel pretty good since we won pretty clean. But honestly, this match, we're not really... I mean, we were kind of expected to win. We knew that if we play our game, we would win. So I think we're more focused on the next best of 5 versus Fnatic.
Ooh, I would love to talk about that one, but like hold your horses, because you went up against Lee Sin mid. Was that an expectation that you ever had coming into the LEC?
I mean, honestly, when he picked Lee Sin, I thought he'd be like those TikTok Lee Sins I see on my phone, like he'd make some crazy combos or something, but nah, he didn't do that. So I was a bit worried at first. I was like, this guy's cooking something, you know, so.
Yeah, the Yoda game was great though. You know, you're getting better after the KC game. But let's stick to MKOI, because it feels like, you know, you guys started off really strong. You had a little bit of a blip in the road. You're coming back. What's the last couple of weeks been like when it comes to prepping for these best of series?
I mean, I think honestly, I'm just getting more comfortable the longer time is going by. I felt really comfortable today versus how I've been in Europe, just adjusting and everything. So. I'm pretty confident in myself and the team going forward, and I'm pretty confident that we should take out Fnatic if we play our game. But I mean, it's been great to be here so far, so yeah.
Besides like the terrible weather that we have here in Berlin, what else was like pulling you off your game? What's been like the most difficult part to adjust to in Europe?
Probably the schedule, because in LCS the games start at like 12 p.m., 1 p.m., but in LEC it's so late, so I don't know what to do during the day. I have so much time before the game starts. Yeah, I sleep more, like, you know, but right now I found my routine what to do, so it's better.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, you've already touched upon the Fnatic game now, so I feel like you're eager to talk about it. We actually had a conversation with Humanoid before this game, and he said something really interesting that I genuinely think you should have a listen to, so if we could play that, that would be
What's
incredible.
your take on Jojopyun so far, what he was supposed to bring to the team and what he has not been bringing to MKOI?
I mean, he's just average. He's way better at talking than playing, I would say. So I guess that's what he brings to the team.
All right.
Average, better than talking, than playing. Wow, some really kind words that you're getting here in Europe.
I mean, honestly, like, I have no words to say. I'll just play my best game and we'll see, you know?
Humble Jojo, what?
I mean, I'm being humble now, you know?
Like, so they're telling you should talk some smack.
I mean, to be honest, I always knew Humanoid is a choker against me too, specifically. And against APA, like, he's... like, no joke, in NA, he's known to choke against NA mid, so honestly, I don't really care what he has to say, and we'll just see next week.
So that's like your advantage, because you're coming from NA.
Yeah, I think he's mental block. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe G2 is their kryptonite. But for that series, do you have a prediction? Do you think it's going to be as clean as today, 3-0? Do you think it's going to be 5 games? We're going to be here for a while?
I mean, to be honest, I thought Fnatic would 2-0 today, but it looked like Vedius was playing better all the games, and then Vedius threw. So I don't know if Fnatic was off today or if they're just not that good right now, but I think a 3-1 us, yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time for the interview, and congratulations. We're going to be seeing you going up against Fnatic. That's enough from us on this side of the stage. We're going to be heading over to PGL with Laure, Finn, and Myrwn. So, Laure, take it away.